Hey guys, Jeff Scallon here. We got a good positive response to our first lecture type video and we wanted to do another one. So we went through our emails and found out that one of the most popular questions we get is, how do I get rid of my man boobs? So let's go ahead and get right into it. Man boobs. We will distinguish two different types. The first we're going to call gynecomastia. Okay, and the second we're just going to call having a fatty chest. All right, having a fatty chest. All right. Now, how do we distinguish between these two types? All right. Well, gynecomastia is a medical condition that's going to be due to hormonal imbalances. And that in turn can be due to pills. Certain pills can cause this. You can also have been exposed to certain types of cream. So maybe your wife is on estrogen cream and that's rubbed off on you. That can cause gynecomastia. It can also be due to internal pathologies. Internal pathology. So in other words, something's happening with the balance of hormones in your body and it's causing estrogen to be favored over testosterone. Okay? Now, how do you tell the difference between these two on visual inspection? Well, in both cases, you're going to have excess fatty tissue on the chest. With gynecomastia, however, in addition to that excess fatty tissue, you're also going to have a hypertrophying of the actual glandular structure of the breast. So the actual ductwork that ends up being the conduit for milk in lactating women, that's going to become enlarged on the male, and that's going to cause there to be kind of a harder mass behind the nipple, and the nipple itself to be larger and kind of more spread out. Okay, in gynecomastia, you actually have breasts. Okay, so it's a completely different issue than just having excess fat on your chest. If you feel that you might fall into this category, go ahead and check with your healthcare provider because, as I mentioned, that is a medical condition. Okay, but that having been said, we're not going to talk about this too much. We're going to concentrate on having a fatty chest and what you can do to get rid of it. Okay, so where does this fatty chest come from? And there are two main culprits. Sedentary lifestyle. And poor diet. A sedentary lifestyle and poor diet. All right. Are there any quick fixes to this? Any life hacks that you can employ to fix this problem? No, they're not. But there are some myths that you're going to want to avoid. And the biggest one is going to be spot reduction. Now, spot reduction, what that says is that you can prioritize where on your body you're going to lose fat by training that area. So let's say you wanted to lose fat on your abdomen, you would do a bunch of sit-ups, crunches, leg raises, whatever, and that you'd start losing more fat on your abdomen than anywhere else. Same with the chest. If you want to prioritize fat loss on your chest, you start doing a bunch of pressing motions, a bunch of flies, and you'll lose fat on your chest first and foremost. But this is nonsense. This is not real science. This has been debunked many times before. Okay, so that's not a viable option. What can happen though is if you start doing a bunch of crunches, let's say for your abs. All right, you're not going to lose fat on your abs in exclusion to the rest of your body. When you lose fat, you lose it uniformly through your body, just like when you gained it. Okay, when you gain fat, it tends to be gained uniformly. It might concentrate in certain areas, but you gain it pretty much uniformly. So when you lose it, you're going to lose it in that same manner. Okay? So if you're doing crunches, all right, you're not going to be losing more fat on your abdomen than in other places necessarily. But what can happen is you can get a little more muscle mass on your abs and they can start to show through the fat. It's not that you have less fat there, but your muscle can be showing more. And the same holds true for your chest, maybe even more so. Okay, because right here at the sternum, right, there's hardly any fat there to begin with. So if you start increasing the size of the muscle, increasing muscle tone, and like right here, your muscles will most definitely show. And also, as you increase muscle mass on your chest, it tends to kind of lift things up, and at least to the eye, it gives the chest a more shapely experience, almost distributing the fat around again to the eye. So it's not that you have less fat there, but the chest might look a little more shapely. Okay? But we want to do more than that, because we want to include diet and exercise together, as we do in most solutions to most fitness problems. Okay, we want to combine the power of these two things. So for exercises, we've gone over this before, we'll just touch on it again briefly. All right, what are you going to do? You're going to want to include some presses, some flies, some dips, and the last one might surprise you, some pull-ups. Okay? Mentioned it before, function of the chest. The primary function of the muscles of the chest is to take the arms and bring them across the body. And this is a great visual for that, but this visual right here doesn't fully capture all the different ways you can bring your arms across the chest. For example, like this. My pectoral muscle is attached to my humerus, and it pulls the arm across my body this way. So this motion right here should also be included in pulling the arm across the body, as should the pull-up. My arm is up here, right? Chest attached to the humerus, and the chest pulls my arm across the body, right? So dips and pull-ups should also be included in there. Okay, the chest is being hit on those exercises as well. It's not being isolated, but it is being included. They're lower down the list, but they are there. Okay, the point of all of these things is that you want to hit your chest from every single angle that you can. Okay, so exercise should be pretty straightforward, and I think it is for most men. All right, you tell them, go lift this weight, do it a certain number of times, and then go home and rest. It's straightforward. Okay, there's no real magic to it. Okay, diet, on the other hand, when you start talking about diet, then that's a bit of a different beast, right? It can almost feel like you're back in chemistry class. Let's briefly touch on the three main macronutrients here: proteins, carbs, and fats. Okay, protein, carbs, and fats. And I'm going to go ahead and erase exercise here. What are each of these used for? Well, proteins are used to build muscle. Carbs, you can think of those, think of carbs as energy. It's readily available, so it's just say it's ready to go. And then fats, stored energy. So the trick is to eat enough protein to build the muscle, because you're going to be exercising. You want to have enough carbs to give you the energy you need for your workouts, and you don't want to have too many fats. You can't just say no fats, because fats are an essential part of certain hormones, testosterone being among them, okay, cholesterols. So you want to include fats in your diet at all, also, but you want to keep them a little lower, okay? And fats are also the thing that you're most concerned about losing, okay? And there are so many different diets out there, okay? And I'm not going to say anything bad about them. I'm not going to comment on them. I want to take about a 30,000 foot view of diets to try to demystify it and try to talk about it very, very generally. We might get into more specifics in a later video. But one popular diet, I will say it, I won't call it by name, I'll just call it a no carb diet. No carb diet. What is the rationale behind this? The rationale is you don't have any carbs, because if you don't burn off some of your carbs, they will turn to fat. You want all of your energy to be coming from fats. Okay, so you don't have any carbs, you just have the protein to build the muscle, and all your energy comes from fats. That is an effective diet. It does work. It's not my preferred diet, and the reason for that is if you stop eating carbs, first, you're going to feel like crap. Second, you're not going to have the energy as readily available in the gym, so you won't be able to perform as well in the gym. And then third, they have a tendency, people that do no-carb diets, to really throw the weight back on as soon as they get off the diet. And the simple reason for that is because you've denied your body carbs for so long, your metabolism goes down. Okay? So what I like to do is a tapered carb diet. Tapered, is that how you spell tapered? I don't know. A tapered carb diet. So in the AM hours versus the PM hours, you will have your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. And then in the PM hours, you'll have your proteins and your fats. So in other words, you have all your carbs in the AM hours. And what this has a tendency to do is it will give you all of the energy you need for your workouts in the morning, okay? And in those workouts, you'll burn all those carbs off. So your body's getting carbs, it's keeping its metabolism up, and then you have the rest of the day to use your fat as fuel. So it's a less aggressive approach than a no-carb diet, and I think that less aggressive but consistent is always a better strategy to have when it comes to physical fitness, okay? And that's the same with exercise as well. You know, you want to be consistent. I'd rather see someone exercising with less weight consistently than going in and tearing it up sporadically, okay? So these are some very general principles that you can use to get rid of those horrible man boobs. If you like this video, please go ahead and click subscribe, and we'll go ahead and try to continue delivering content to you like this.